Sir, we will be starting soon in few minutes. Sir, are you ready with the slides?
Yeah, I shared with Vaishnavi also.
All right, sir. So you would be showing it, or you want us to show it?
Yeah, preferably I myself will.
All right.
Already backup is there with the Vaishnavi. If any issues happen, then you can switch over. Otherwise, I'll prefer to do my own.
Yes, sir. Actually, sir, Vaishnavi ma'am is not well today. That's why she is not joining. Otherwise,
Then can you
you are
just say hi to WhatsApp? I will send it to you also.
sure, sir. So can I have the same file as PPT format?
Okay, I will send that also.
Sure.
Yeah, sent.
Got it, sir.
Okay. I'll go with the PDF only. If required, we'll switch over. Otherwise, it's be okay, no issue.
Okay, sir. Tanish sir, is Adil on board? All right, Adil, just let me know when you are ready. All right. A very good evening to all of you. On behalf of Rewa Engineering College, it gives us immense pleasure to assemble all of our audience under the umbrella of our today's session. In the service of nations since 1964, Rewa Engineering College has mounted up. We have MBA grading to our three branches and has both UG and PG programs in the campus. Our today's session, which is an initiative by Training and Placement and Pedia, named as Alumni Circle 𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒏𝒕 Lecture Series by our respected alumni, giving us a golden opportunity to organize these impact lecture series to sensitize and motivate students and faculties during their academics. These impact lecture series not only establish streamlined campus innovation and guidance ecosystem, but also help in establishing a strong connection with alumni at regional and national level. Our alumni circle mission is to provide guidance, host technical talks, offer placement assistance, and cultivate essential soft skills to ensure students are job ready. Through a support network of alumni, we aim to equip students with the knowledge and resources they need to succeed in their professional endeavors. Today, we are privileged to have our guest, Dr. 𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒏𝒕 sir. Now, I'd request Tanis Malvi sir to welcome our today's guest. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Rewa Engineering College, we are honored to have our esteemed guest, Dr. 𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒏𝒕 sir, along with participants and speakers joining us today for this enlightening session focused on introduction of scientific writing for UG students. Our alumni have not only distinguished themselves but also have greatly enhanced the prestige of our institution. We are privileged to have such a diverse and engaging audience with us today. We highly encourage active participations, questions, and discussion as we navigate through the topic. We are delighted that you have chosen us for this interactive session, and it is our pleasure to facilitate this valuable interaction. Over to you, Ashish.
Thank you, sir. Now, to introduce our guest to everyone, I'd like to call Sobika ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. We are honored to welcome Dr. 𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒏𝒕 sir, a distinguished scientist and expert in steel technologies, as a guest speaker for today's webinar. Dr. Vijay sir holds a PhD in aerospace engineering from the Indian Institute of Science, IISc Bangalore, and MTech in design engineering from the Indian Institute of Technology, IIT New Delhi, and a BE in mechanical engineering from Government Engineering College, Rewa. Currently serving as scientist and head of the Stealth Technologies Division at the Aeronautical Development Establishment DRDO, Dr. Vijay sir has made significant contributions to the field since joining DRDO in 2004. His prolific career includes the publication of over 60 international journal articles and conference papers, 2 book chapters, and more than 200 technical articles. Dr. Vijay sir's exemplary work has been recognized with numerous awards, including the DRDO National Science Day Oration 2024, Best Paper Awards from the Altair Technology Conference 2022, and the Antenna Test and Measurement Society 2018, and Professor A.K. Rao Gold Medal for Best PhD Thesis in Aerospace Engineering from IISc Bangalore in 2015. He has also received accolades such as the Director's Commendation Certificate at ADE DRDO and several other prestigious awards for his contributions to science and technology. So please join us in welcoming Dr. Vijay sir as he shares his invaluable insights on the topic of Introduction to Scientific Writing for Undergraduate Students. We are grateful to have you, sir, in this session. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, I would like to call our respected alumni to grace our audience with his knowledge and experience. Over to you, sir.
Okay, first of all, thank you to Ashish, Sobika, Anish, and all the students of our college and respected seniors and my colleague from the office. Thanks for joining the session. Let me share the presentation. Can someone confirm whether it is visible?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, fine. Okay, once again, good afternoon to all. Today I am going to speak about the scientific writing basically for the undergraduate students. And I'll be, because this is the area which is a very vast in nature, so I'll try to focus some of the important aspects. So I'll be just, title itself is saying the introduction. So we will try to go with the topics. Let us see that how to move forward with this, and we'll try to keep you guys aware that what is happening in the scientific writing community and what you should do as undergraduate students and what you should not do also. I'll be trying to speak on that. So the outline of the today's presentation will be what is scientific writing, first of all, that I will be touching in very brief. Then I will be discussing about what are the procedure or the process are involved for writing the scientific presentations or the writing. It includes the various authors, co-authors. So I will be speaking about the authorships and their acknowledgements, what you should do while writing the scientific papers. And then we'll be talking about the journals, which will be little more onto the peer review journals, their processes, open access journal, what is their impact factor, what is their publication cycles, what is the different type of articles available in various journals, and then the structure of the scientific paper we will be discussing. And more important part is the ethics. So that also I will be touch little bit on the ethics in publishing and few references which I have used, because a lot of the information are taken from the open sources. So I have given the references for them. Now coming to what is scientific writing. Scientific writing, basically the purpose of scientific writing is to communicate the new scientific findings. So basically new scientific finding is more, it means that which is not known to the world. So the scientists who are doing something new and they are trying to, the most important thing is what is new, what they are trying to do is they are doing with some scientific experiments. So when we say the scientific experiment means if any of the other scientific community repeat those experiments, so they should also able to generate the similar kind of results or the performance. So the scientific experiments, once they do and they generate the experiments and then generate the results, so this is becoming incomplete until unless it has been published and understood by the scientific community. So it is very important to write those the results or the findings in a scientific paper and publish them, so that it will become a permanent repository to the scientific knowledge. So it will be becoming a progressive community, and anyone wants to do anything on those areas will understand from those available published literature and try to improve or learn new things from that. So basically scientific writings includes various journals, theses, dissertation, monograph, reports, all those things. So today we will be talking on the journals part only. And one more important thing is the knowledge is lost without a written record. So whatever we do, if we are not maintaining in some form of writing in the reports or even the technical reports or anything, so what will happen? Even I personally, if I'll do some activities or some work in the office or anyone else, if they don't write it or record it, what happens after a few months or after a time duration, you will forget all those things. So it is always better suggested that whatever we do, we should record it properly, so the knowledge should not be lost. So this is a very important point we should keep in mind. And being a youngsters, it is also very important for all you guys to keep this in mind, and which I am finding in the younger generations, that the habit of what they do, they don't write and record the thing. So it is very important aspect which everyone should keep in mind. It will help them to grow in future. Now my screens are visible, right? Anytime anything happens, please update me.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So now who are involved in this process of the scientific writing? So there are basically 4 verticals are there. One is the authors or co-authors. So basically the person who writes those papers and the journal articles or the other form of like conference papers or proceedings. And the second part is the journal or the editorial board. So basically the author writes it, send it to the journal board or the editorial board. They do all the procedure activity, and then they says whether that paper is good enough for the publication or not. So there is a procedure involved in that. So normally when the author submit to any journal, so basically the editorial board, which I will be explaining more in detail. So sometimes it's sent to the reviewers, external reviewers, to see that whether those papers can be reviewed by the experts of that domain, and they will give their inputs or their feedback that whether this paper is really worth to be published in that particular journal or not. So sometimes reviewer will say it may be published, sometimes they may say reject the paper, sometimes they will ask you to do more work. So it goes in a loop, and finally end of the day, sometimes some of the papers got accepted, some got rejected, like that. So once the paper which got accepted, finally there are audience or the researchers. They are the people who will see those paper and try to use those paper for doing the further research activity in their domains and all those. So these are all the 4 the verticals which are involved basically in the scientific writing procedure. I will be going more and more step by. We will start with the authors and the co-authors. So if you see, this is one of the paper which I am showing here. So basically this is the first page of any of the journal. So it consists of the title page because the title is written here. So we are first focusing on the authors and their order. So now we'll go to the paper. Now this is one of the paper. Now I will give some of the little information about this the title page. So this IOP publishing is what is written here is the publisher, the Institute of Physics. So this is a publisher who has this journal. The name of the journal is the Journal of Physics Condensed Matter. So it's a physics-based journal, which is from the IOP publishing. And these particular things, if you see Journal of Physics Condensed Matter, so they have written some volume number, the year of published, page numbers, how many pages are there. So there is some format is there of that particular journal which they have followed. And you'll get a one DOI, which is the digital object identifier. So these are a number which is the number which can be distinguished for the any paper. So this will be a identity. The number which is not be a repeatable number. So every paper will be having a separate numbers like this. So now you have some title. So now we are not focusing on the title now. So we are focusing only on the author part now. So now there you see there is only a single author in this particular paper. And that author has some affiliation which is written here, and there is a contact details are mentioned here. So normally this is the start. After many iteration it got accepted. Now for a researcher to the young generations, those who are interested in for the scientific writing and all those things. So these kind of things happens, the rejection happens mainly when a new researcher is entering into this kind of world of scientific writing. So they have to be patient and they have to keep listening to the reviewer or the editor that what correction or the changes they are asking. We have to keep improve our manuscripts. And end of the day, yes, there will be a positive sign. This will get accepted and get published. Okay, now you have noticed here in the final form they are written. Now here they have received in the February 1st, 2014. It is getting revised. So they have asked for some changes. We have revised, submitted back, and it got published. It is accepted for publication and got published. So there is a delay also after the acceptance to the publication because it goes to the production house. They do a lot of grammatical correction, formatting, and all those in 1 month of effort takes, and it got published. So there is once you start becoming more and more technically sound, so the timelines which required to get published also reduced. It also depends on the journal also. So it has gone for the revision, revised, and got accepted. Now you see this is another paper which we are showing here. So they have received in the September 21. And it is directly accepted on the October 21. So there is no revision required here. So there is no, or maybe there must be some minor revision for that editor. The reviewer must have asked that, okay, if the author does those changes, you please accept it as it is. No need to resend it for the again for the review. So there is a minor or the no revision. So what I'm trying to say here, so there are various stages. So in the review process, either your manuscript get the review, you have to go for the revision, it will go accepted, it will go rejected, it will have minor revision. So these are all the various options when the reviewer write their reviews reports. So they will select any one of these and it goes in that cycle. So these are typical review procedures and the timelines which happens. Now coming to the peer review journal growth. So now if you see here, it is again taken from the Elsevier. So the number of the journals, it's keep on increasing. So here it is shown up to 2001, we had 10,000 journals in the Elsevier itself. So the data, so now we have a lot of journal growth is happening. It means a lot of publication is getting added. So selecting a proper journal and where to publish is becoming more and more difficult for the new researchers and other areas. So this is onto the peer review process. Now coming to the impact factor. So now suppose a researcher has wanted to submit his work to any of the journal. So what should be which particular journal he should select? So that is one big question mark, and how to decide that. So that is basically we have to see the status of the journal. Basically the impact factor is one of the way we see that which journal is having the more impact factor. It means it is having the chances that your paper, the quality of that journal is very high. So it's not quality. It's basically what we can say that that is more citable journals, which is means more readable by the research community. So how we calculate the impact factor basically? So now, for example, I want to calculate for any particular journal the impact factor of 2024. So there is a formula which is impact factor is A by B. A is what? The number of times article published in 2022-23 and were cited in the index journal during 2024. So suppose if I have published 50 journals articles in the 2022 and 50 journal articles in 2023 and they are cited in 2024, and how many times? In 2024 they are cited in 1000 times. So basically A by B is what I am saying. So 1000 citation of 100 articles. So this 1000 by 100 is a 10. So my impact factor is a 10. So in general, anything the impact factor more than 2 is called as a very high renowned journals, and it goes higher and higher. It will be become, for example, Science and Nature are some of the journals whose impact factors are very, very high. So which means they are very highly renowned journals in the science field. But what happens? There is one important point also I just would like to mention here that the technology or the engineering journals, basically who is a hardcore engineering journals, normally their impact factor lies between 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of thing. So those are not basically hardcore or the pure engineering journals. So their impact factor lies between 1 to 2, 3, 4 of those orders. This impact factor is clear to, or anyone is having any doubt? So because I am going more deeper now onto this particular thing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I have taken now from Science Direct one of the journals. Right? Okay, fine. So I have taken one of the journal details which is available in the Science Direct website. It is a progress in the material science. So normally if you open any of the Science Direct page of any journal, in the front page itself you will see the details. So this particular journal has an impact factor of 33.6. Now there is a few more details you will get if you will scroll down about the article issues, about the articles and the publishing details and all those things, and about the journals. For example, this particular journal says the progress in material science published authority and critical reviews of the recent advances in science of material and then exploitation of the engineering and other applications. So they basically progress in material science, write review articles in the material science or the advancement in the material science. And also you will see this is a red box which has been drawn here. So they also are charging $5,860 for publishing for the open access. So there is a term open access which I will be discussing subsequently in the few slides. So there are something called as open access. So open access is nothing but they are asking authors or the funding agency, the author who is publishing their work, they says that you pay this much amount so that it will become visible to all the scientific community. So they need not to pay anything to see this particular journal paper. So they are taking this fees from the authors or their funding agency. And normally this kind of the journal, this is one of the journal which comes under the review category journal. So which now you notice here this 374 days of the time it takes from submission to acceptance. So it's more than a year. So the first day you submit this paper, from the coming to the acceptance stage it takes a year of time. So this varies from journal to journal, and 7 days for the publication. Now also what the journal is saying that their acceptance rate is 18% only. So out of 100 only 18 papers they accept. And this also I would like to mention here that these are all the journals which is the right only the review articles and all. Basically the editor itself call the very renowned journals. So I will make sure that my company sponsor me this. If my paper got published in this particular thing, so they will pay this much to the journals and it will become open access. So it will become accessible to all the scientific community. So they need not to pay anything. So the same paper I have taken, which I was discussing previously. So this is from Austria, authors are from Austria. So they have acknowledged here. So they acknowledge the support from the Austrian Science Fund. So they got some funding and it is available freely. It's as a open access to all the scientific community. Now, what happens if it is not available openly? If you want to read that particular paper which is not openly available, for example, I took one more other paper from the same journal. So if I have to read that, if I am from the corporate, I have to pay this much of the amount plus the local taxes. So maybe 40 USD I have to pay to read that one paper of that from that journal. And for the academic and the personal use, there will be a slight reduced charges are there. So open access is sometimes useful. They are helping to the scientific community. Okay, the agency is paying. Everyone can read it and can utilize the information available into that particular paper and can use those things for their research activities. Now, I will come little more details on this part. Now, the progress in material science, again, I am talking in the same journal. What they are saying, they support open access. They are saying they support open access. It is not an open access journal. So there are few journals, they are open access journals. So if you have to publish in that particular journals means you have to pay the fees. There is no other options available. But in these particular journals, it's not an open access journal, but they are supporting. If you want to pay the fees, your paper will be made freely available to all those things. For example, there are the 3 papers shown from the again their website. So if you read here, so this particular paper, it's a review article and the abstract only. So only the abstract is available. So you can only, if it is not open access, you can only see the abstract of that particular article, nothing else. Now here it's open access, so you have the PDF access is there, you can freely download. The benefit of the open access is also that the author has a chances that more people will read their articles, so the citation will become more, and so the chances of getting the publicity of the paper will become more in the open access journal. Now, I have told this open access article. Now I am talking about the open access journal. So there are now, earlier there was a tendency, there was a very few journals are there. Now if you see in the last few years, the trends is becoming exponentially. So the number of journals with the open access only is becoming more, 2,600 to be paid after the acceptance. So if you are publishing anything onto the open access journals, all journals are has to be paid and it is accessible to the everyone. And you can also see here, so every journals will be highlighting the how good they are and with their impact factor. So in the front page of the journal, you will be able to see the impact factor details of all the journals of all the publishers. Okay, so this is one of the publication cycle details which I took it in from the again from the open source which was there in 2003. So here basically the cycle what you are seeing is that the publication cycle. So the publisher basically what they do, they manage the submission, they manage the review process, then they do the editing and preparing the paper, then it goes to the production, then publish, and then archive, and they do the promotions and for the utilization and all those things. Here I would like to just highlight these 2 points. In 2003, roughly sometimes when this was this slide was made, there are around 2,000 journals was there in the Elsevier. Now when today morning I just checked it in the Elsevier, now that 2,000 has become around more than 5,000 journals, and 20,000 books around. So there is a number of journals keep on increasing by day by day. So and the selecting proper journals and making a selection for the publication is. Now I have just tried to explain you how the journal is there, what is the open access journals and all those things. Now let us see that in a particular journal, what is the type of articles which we normally write or which is available in the literature. I just wanted to tell to all the members, because it's already 4:50, because this domain is very lengthy in nature. So I may go for another 10-15 minutes. If required, we may have continue the part 2 of this, or we will see that how to go about.
So we can continue.
Okay. So there are type of journals is basically there are one is called as the original research or the paper which we write. Basically, it's a high quality original research paper which some conclusion which represent a significant advance in the field. So the normal paper which we write is comes in the category of the first category, which is the original research. Then the second category is called as the letter. Letter is basically a short form of the research where suppose if I got something very new idea or some novel cutting edge the output of some of my experiments or something, so which we want to show to the scientific community very quickly. So normally we write those letters. So letters are normally 3 to 4 page write up is there, so which is very quick in publications and very something very new which we have got the output which we want to publish to the scientific community, which goes into the letter. So now I will show the difference between the research article and the letter. So this is a conventional research articles which normally has 8 to 10 page of the limits. Up to that you can write that. And here the two things I have marked it here. So now if you see here, it has gone into the February and accepted in somewhere available in the May. So around 3 to 4 months of the time frame which it is taking for the first submission to the acceptance. And if you see here, the abstract also maybe around 200 to 250 words of the abstract which is written for this particular paper. Now coming to the letter I have told already. So suppose this letter was submitted in the 5th of February 2009 and it got accepted within 15 days after the revision. So it is very quick. Within a month it has been online available, and it is if you see, notice also the abstract also is less than 50 words or so. So it has a 4-page limit. So which is a very something novel and a short quick result which you got and which you want to show it to the community, which goes into the letter. So there is a lot of different journals are available whose title itself is the letters. So for example, this is materials letter. So this comes along with the letters. Even the normal journal also has a letter section. They also accept the letters. So you have to go through the details of the journal. They will say that whether they takes letters or not. And normally the impact factor of the letters are higher because it is a cutting edge technology or something new or novel ideas which has been published in letters. So normally the impact factors of the letters are higher compared to the conventional letter of the same discipline. Now the third type of the article comes as the comments of the reply. So comments is basically you are criticizing of some of the previously published work. Usually, so when someone is criticizing, so they will also allow or give a chance to the previous author to reply to the critic who is commenting on their work. I will give one example here. So for the comments, this is one of the paper which is the applied physics letter which was published. It is in 2009. So now this has been commented. So there is some technical comment has been made. By the authors. Now when the comment has been made, the editor will give a chance to the previous author that you respond to this comment, and there is a response to the comment also comes. So this is a normal the procedure which is getting followed for the comments. So but these are all for the some criticism or some of the work which has some issue normally for those kind of. So this is not normally will not find regularly into the journals. It will come normally, again this has come into the letters. So now if you see the letters, sometimes what happens, this is a short communication, there are chances that some thing has been missed out. So sometimes people will, some of the researcher or the scientific community comments on that. So it happens mostly, very rare chances are there of this kind of papers for the comments and the response to the comments. And the last one is one of the thing is the review article. So review article which I was showing just a few slides back, which is progress in the material science. So basically it is written by the leading researchers in their field, and it is normally be invited by the editorial board. So I cannot submit the review article in those journals because it has for paper and all those things. And there is also curriculum, erratum, viewpoint, roadmaps. There are a lot of different kinds of articles are there, but mainly the 4 article is the paper, research paper, then the letters, and the comments also very rare, and the review letters, review papers. So those are all the 3-4 which is more the popular kind of articles which is getting published in the journals. Now, how to organize the scientific paper? So basically, there is a format called as a IMRAD. So I is for the introduction, M is for the method, R is for the result, and discussion format. So basically, any scientific paper should follow this. So you should have at least this 4 section in your scientific paper. So in the introduction, basically, you have to see that what problem is studied and what other and you have done in that and your study area. So all those details normally goes into the introduction. And in the method section, you basically say write that what how you are doing that. So what is the method or the philosophy you are using or the technical things, that part goes into the method. In the result section, basically you will write that what did you find, and then discussion you have to say that what you find and what is the meaning of those findings, and you have to give some conclusion, summary, and the future plans and all those things in the discussion. So basically these 4 sections covers the scientific paper. But in the current journals and all those things, you will see that there is a specified structures are there which start from the title and then abstract, and you have introduction. Sometimes you will be having the keywords also here, and then introduction, materials and methods, result, discussion and summary. After that the acknowledgement, and sometimes you have to do funding details here, and then the references, and sometimes you also will have the supplementary data also sometimes which require for more justification. Suppose I have a paper which is a 10 pages restrictions, but sometimes reviewer says that you show us those details, these details, so that the extra details can be put as a supplementary materials which goes along with the paper, which is not be the main paper, but it is supplementary that paper which is available in the for the scientific community to go through. So we'll go in very brief to all these points. So the title should be catchy, it reflects the contents of the paper. It should be concise, informative, and meaningful for the whole leadership of the journal. Don't use the non-standard or the abbreviations or acronyms or symbols in the title. It should not be too lengthy, and try to see that the recent trends on the what particular journal is following. So that will also give some ideas that if you are trying to target any particular journal, so you will get an idea that what kind of the titles or the similar kind of things it will be good for you. Now this is the title. Now if you hear something more onto the why I came to this particular part, because after the title is the abstract is there. Now if you want to read a scientific article, now your ocean of articles available with you. Now how do you go about that? You want to read like a book, or is there any strategy? So for me, is basically if you go into normally I prefer Google Scholar. You can go similar other sources. There's a lot of sources are available. If you go to the Google Scholar and if you search for any of the keyword, suppose for example now computer science guys, if you want to see some new development in the machine learning algorithm or something, they can write there. So normally what they will get only the paper with the abstract. I have explained just a few slides back. If it is not open access, you will only be able to see the abstract part of it. So normally we make assessment from the abstract and the keywords that okay, this by reading that abstract whether that paper is good for me or not. So we don't go into the more details. We normally keep searching the abstract details only and we'll go. So the initial stages we will be reading only the abstract part. In some of the places where we find that oh yeah, this paper is really good and we have to look into the more details, then we'll go into the complete paper. Now with the complete paper also, normally we in the first stage we will not read everything. So what we see some of the tables and figures and try to pick out immediately quickly that okay, what result they have published, whether that is having some meaningful, meaningful means it is useful for our research activities or not. So by seeing the table and figures also, sometimes we will reject in the sense we will not consider them for our activities. So we will be keep searching the new paper. And when we find that okay, there are tables, figures which are really good for and which are useful for our activity, then only we will go and read the complete article and then take a notes of these and try to understand more and more. So I will not go into that how we do. I just explain that how we do the read a particular scientific article. So we start with the abstract, look for the table figures, then go into the full articles. We don't start reading the complete article in one go. So that is the way we do the screening. So now because we are only seeing the abstract and we are screening our the journal papers, so the abstract should be basically written in a very concise and a very informative way, so that it should capture everything of that which is available on the paper. So it should be a summary of the information what is there in that particular paper. It should be written clearly and simply so that anyone can read and understand, because and this is the only part, as I mentioned, that which is read by the many times. So people don't go and read the complete paper, they only read the abstract. And you should also, I am already showed that at least you consider all the portions while you are writing the abstract. So your main objective and the scope of the investigation, you describe the methods and the main results and the conclusion. So those things should be there in the abstract, so that people, the researcher, can take a decision whether to read the full paper or not. Also, for the criteria for the abstract, normally it has each journal has its own guidelines, and we should always refer those guidelines. But in a few terms I have written, roughly 200 to 250 words. It should be a single paragraph. It should be written in simple English. Abbreviation directly don't use. Use first their details and then abbreviation. Don't cite or refer anything into the abstract part. And which is not relevance information, we should not, of that paper, should not write onto the paper. Next come to the, so if you see this is the abstract, and you can notice here there is a keyword. So we have to give some keywords. So basically when you search in the Google or the Google Scholar, so the AI based algorithm tools and all those things catch those keywords and try to find out which journal are more suitable or the particular paper which you are looking for. So they will give you the output based on that. So we have to give around 5 to 7 keywords for the indexing purpose. So it helps the researcher to find out the article of their interest. It should be in English. We should avoid and off and other this multiple words in the keywords, and we should only use abbreviation if they are firmly established. For example, sonar, radar, those words we need not write completely. We can write the abbreviation in the keywords. 10 years back, these features highlight and the graphical abstract was not there in the journal. Now all the journals are having these features. So basically along with the abstract, now they are giving the highlight and the abstract and the graphical abstract also to visible to the scientific community, so they can take a call that they want to read the complete paper or not. So it's basically a collection of few bullet points, 3 to 5, and that captures the novel result of your result, and also help to search the engine for the visibility. Maybe I will go this and I will show that that will be. So this is the one paper. So this is the highlights of the paper, you can see. So some few bullet points along with the abstract. So earlier we used to only have the abstract. Now we have these highlights also available and the graphical abstract. So you can see the graphical abstract also. So that is also available, which can be it's here. So basically graphical abstract is summarize the content of your article in a concise and pictorial form basically, and it's designed to capture the attention of a wide readership. So it will help draw more attention to your online article, and so people can digest your research more better way. So that is how, so along with the abstract, now you are having the highlights and the graphical abstract also available. So people, the scientific community go through this and take a call that to go further to read that paper or not. And then come to the introduction. Introduction section should be clearly stated the objective of the work and the adequate background. So basically what I see that when we write an introduction, this is a 3-part. What is the done in the past? So that is the literature, that details we write. And now what is missing, or that what is the missing part, or what is the part which the earlier researcher has suggested that future work, that they must have told that this can be done, that can be done. So that is the missing part which we are targeting here to do that. And out of that, what is the new thing we got it and which we are reporting here. So these are the 3 things which we should, which must consider into the introduction part of any of the paper. Then comes the material and method. So you should provide sufficient details of the material and method to allow your work to be reproduced by the another researcher. So suppose you wrote any of the material and the methods. So whatever you did, if suppose your paper got published tomorrow, anybody else wants to repeat that, it should be reproducible. So that should be keep in mind. And also there are few guidelines. If the method you have used already published, so you refer that from the original publisher, or you cite them. And if you are doing any modification to the existing publication, then you have to say that which method of the existing method you refer that and what modification has been done to that particular method. So this is something what we prefer to write in the material and methods. In the result and the discussion section, basically it should be clear and concise. we should explore the significance of the result, but we should not keep repeating them. So in a paper, you should not repeat the same wordings into the method section, result section, discussion section. So we should avoid that. And sometimes we can have different result sections, separate discussion sections. We can combine also. So it depends upon if it is how the author is writing the paper, or sometimes based on the journal's requirement also. And in this particular section, we should avoid the extensive citation. Citation basically only into the introduction section is what we prefer to do, and the rest of the part is the bare minimum, which is really useful, should be used the citation of the published literature. In the conclusion part, we have to conclude the main conclusion or the output of the paper. And you may have a standalone conclusion. Sometimes the result discussion also get combined with the conclusion part. So this all depends on. Sometimes here also we write that what is the next we can take up and which is not done in this study. So that also comes into the conclusion part. So that give an idea to the new researchers when they read the complete paper. They'll pick up from this section that okay, these are all the things which we can try out. And also don't forget to acknowledge. So anyone who has provided you the help during your research, such as help in the while language, while writing, proofreading, you should always acknowledge them in the acknowledgement section. So they cannot be the author, they are only you have to acknowledge them. And then the last part coming is the references. So when the references, when we are citing in the text, so there is a standard guidelines are there. I am showing this, for example, this is the first style. So if you see here, it is the author's name has been written, and in the bracket 1, 2, 3, and all those things are written. So this is the one kind of format which you do the referencing in the text. And there is another style which is, so it varies from publisher to publisher. So now if you see, instead of 1 and 2, the author's name, first author name, and the year when it is getting published. So there are different styles are available which varies from journal to journal, publisher to publisher. So that once anyone is writing for any particular journal, so they have to follow the journal guidelines. So this is for the referencing in the text. Also there is a reference when you are writing in the reference section. Also you have different styles. So one is with the numbering system, so they will write the author's surname and the first name, and they have some particular format. And here they are writing in the instead of numbering system, they will go with the date wise, alphabetically. So the author's name coming alphabetically and the year when they have published. So there are different styles are available in the, again it depends from journal to journal. Now a few tips for the scientific writing. Whenever anyone which is trying to write, you should be very clear. It should be a clear, useful, and exciting scientific message you are passing. If you have something new or exciting, then you should target to write into the scientific community. And it should be a flow like what you are reading, like a storybook. So anyone who reads it, it should be, it should make interest when they are reading the things. And also write in such a way that it conveys the matter which can be written in a 2-page and we are writing in 5 pages, so it's not acceptable. So basically I tell to my guys that reduce your article length to normally half. So in the first to 5 revisions, if you do a 5 revision of your manuscript, normally the 10-page manuscript may become to the 5 or 6-page manuscript. So this is what should be the target when you are writing to the scientific writing. The last part is the ethics. It is a very dangerous and important area we have to keep in mind. So we should avoid the scientific misconduct. We should not generate or publish a falsification results. So you got something and you are modifying those data and publishing. So that is not correct. There are other publication misconduct. Plagiarism is there. So there are different form and the severity is there. Suppose plagiarism means you are referring someone's work, but you are not citing them, so it's not correct. If you are taking some of the write-up or some para from any of the literature, you should refer them, you should cite them, properly acknowledge them. You should avoid doing the duplicate submission. You cannot, you are thinking that, okay, let me submit the same journal to the same manuscript to the 2 journal. It can, wherever I'll get the acceptance, it will work. I can revert back, but that doesn't happen. So we should avoid duplicate submission, duplicate publication. We should avoid. We should always acknowledge the prior researchers and their works if you are taking from them, and inappropriate identification of the co-author. So this is very important area. One thing, who all should be the co-author, who are really contributed should go into the as the author list, and the conflict of interest. So that also should be avoided. Now this is one of the taken from the Science Direct. Now, so this paper has been retracted. Retracted in the means this article, it is the editor has written that the editorial board, the reason this article is virtually identical to the previously published article. So means the work what they did, somehow they missed it, or why the same work thing is December 2023. So in more than 10,000 research papers were retracted in 2023. It's a new record. So there is a lot of ethical issues are happening because the number of journals has come up, open access is there, so there's a lot of things are happening in the scientific community, so we have to be very careful on that. So 10,000 papers which has been retracted in 2023, only in a year, it's a very huge number. And also now this I will show you. So even in the Nature, which is a very highly reputed journal, they also retracted an article in 2002, which was a very highly cited, 5,000 citations are there. So that also got retracted. So it is happening in all kind of journals. So we have to be very careful when we publish our work. We have to be seen and referred properly that what we have done is correct or not. These are all some of the references from where I have taken some slides from some and other resources which I have just referred here. I think with this, I will thank you all for patiently listening to me, even though this subject is a little more technical on the technical aspect. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this valuable and insightful session. Now, I request Tanis Malvi sir and Shobika ma'am to ask questions.
I can stop presenting?
Yes,
sir.
Sir, many students from our college have gone to IITs and IISc for research internship and have published papers. Some of them like 𝒂𝒏𝒐𝒏'𝒕, who went to IIT Delhi, and 𝒔𝒊𝒏 from IISc Bangalore are here with us today. So coming to the question, what advice would you give to students aiming to pursue a career in research and development?
See, it's research and development is one part, and the publication is a separate part. Sometimes some of the organizations where you are doing the R&D activities, they may not even allow you to publish. So the publication and the R&D is a two different aspect. Okay. So because sometimes may possible that you are doing some classified work which is of the national asset, so they may not allow you to. I think Adil can stop you, his mic, it is echoing. So that is the one part. The second thing. So you have to make habit of keep on reading at least some papers every once in a week, some 3 papers of your domain. You be in touch with that particular scientific domain so that you will be knowing that what is happening. And you will be knowing that who are all the professors or who are all the institute working in that domain. So you will be keep on getting the idea. Then you can slowly approach them and do some parallel work. And sometimes what I will also suggest that don't jump directly into the journals and especially in the international journals and all those things. So prefer to start with writing for some conference paper, some small work, which will help you people to communicate with the other peers and go and meet during the conferences with them, discuss your results. They will also appreciate your work, and slowly you have to basically communicate with them, and you have to make a group or the consortium, and slowly you have to get involved with those professors or the research institute and keep doing those activities. That is how the things work. It takes time. It doesn't happen overnight, and you have to do a lot of effort and work for that.
Yes, sir. Over to you, Shobika.
So my question is, what skills related to scientific writing and communication do you think are the most valuable for students who are aspiring for careers in research and development?
Sorry, can you repeat again? I missed it.
So my question is, what skills and related to scientific writing and communication do you think are the most important and valuable for the students who are aspiring for career in research and development?
Okay, fine. Today's talk, I have not covered many of the things. So the communication writing, I mean the skill, is one of the important point, and especially the English. So the English literature becomes a very critical because see, the problem is like this. I am from some particular research domain. I do some very the research activities which may not be understandable to the other students. For example, I am in mechanical. The computer guys may not be able to understand if I write something very high funda English and others. What we say, you write very concise, simple English. Try to communicate what research you are doing. It should be readable and understandable by all the community. So the literature is very important. But only thing, the other point is only literature is not going to help. If you are good in literature, it doesn't mean you are a good researcher. So if you have to be a researcher, yes, the literature is must. You should be good in that. But more than that, as I told just now, that you should have a temperament of the scientific work. So you please read more and more research papers on the recent publications. Try to replicate. Go to the conferences within the country. Go and meet their peers and try to discuss and show your results, and then tie up with them and slowly grow your network and keep doing and improve your research. So that is what I can say. And there are a lot of institutes are there like BARC, DRDO, ISRO. They are also and I mean people do publish a lot of work.
Okay, sir. So my next question is, how should students choose a topic for their scientific writing projects?
Yeah, this is a very important thing. See, even there are two, three things. For example, I will suggest you people should go open the Google Scholar. Okay, in the Google Scholar, suppose that you are from computer science, you write some two, three keywords which you see understand is fascinating to you. Suppose if you want to learn something, for example, machine learning, or you want to do something on rocket science, you want to do in aerospace, write those keywords. And by the date you search, suppose now it is 2024 July is going on. See in the last 3 months, so what is the research, or last 6 months, what is the research got published. Try to read those papers and try from there you have to pick up that okay, these are all the areas where people are working in the current trend. This is the current trends or the direction where people are doing the activities. So pick up from there, and that will help you to start. That is the starting point basically. So you may read hundreds of paper. Out of that, maybe one or two you may be able to, I mean, select that and go ahead. So, but you have to make a habit of keep on reading that. So this should be the starting point. And you people have to be good in the programming, and the communication skill is another thing which is a very important aspect which we have to, and keep networking. Do something and publish in the conference. Go and attend the conferences. That is very important.
Okay, sir. So how can students handle feedback and revisions from reviewers or mentors?
See, for the first timers, sometimes there are two aspects is there. First thing is the kind of work what has been done. If you are really into the good R&D problems, or the problems which has been kept it in mind, I mean what you have submitted for the publications, there are chances that you will be getting what happens, your review, I mean your paper is going to the reviewer who is expert in that domain. You are just starting the career in the research. They are 20, 30, 40 years of experience in that domain. What you are not thought of also, they will pick up by reading your articles. So there are chances that they may ask you to do more work. They may ask you to drag for some time. They will say, no, this is not correct. You have to do, because you are not knowing. It's not dragging basically, but you have to improve your manuscripts and all those things. So that takes time. So you always take a feedback of your right direction. Even though it may be harsh also, you take it positively. Okay, there is a chance for improvement. Try to improve it. Discuss with your professors and colleagues. And sometimes what happens, if not feasible, then you have to do more and more R&D work and generate the data, get confidence and resubmit. But take those inputs on a positive note. That will always help.
Okay, sir. Thank you from my side. Over to you, Ashish.
Okay, Vijay, I will tell one thing. Congratulations for such a nice presentation.
Thank you, sir.
It's yeah, very value adding. I'm sorry I was distracted many of that because I'm just attending from office. So many people are coming in this but I was listening. It was a very good presentation. And writing is a skill, but writing technical paper is more professional, which cannot, which needs a lot of competency. So
Yes, sir.
very good tips given by your side. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for attending this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now I'll be leaving from my office. Okay, see you.
Yes.
Bye bye.
Alright, sir, moving forward, I would like to call Dipanshu, sir, for vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. As we conclude this session, I would like to thank Dr. 𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒏𝒕 sir for his valuable insight of scientific writing for the undergraduate student. He has the impressive qualification, including degree from JC Rewa, IIT Delhi, and IIC Bangalore. And he currently heads the Eastern Technician of Division at ADA DRDO. I also want to thank all the participants for your active involvement and great questions. A special thank to the organizing committee and technical team for the making this event run smoothly.
I think
Thank you all.
Siddharth want to ask something?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please.
Uh, so, good evening, sir. Sir, as we know, nowadays modern technologies has involved in this field. So, sir, in what ways do technology ensure the quality and accuracy of scientific writing, or and are there any notable risk or downsides?
See, now for this AI based things, also now you have to give uh, the
Prompt.
declaration
Yes.
that if you use any AI based tools and all those things, you are writing your manuscripts, you have to give the certificate or that details has to be provided. So that is becoming a challenge because I have read few of the papers. Maybe I will share with you guys that what ChatGPT has written has been published articles in the introduction section. See, this problem happens even the person who is technically sound, he may not be good into the communication. So sometimes they try to use these open sources and all for writing the manuscript. That may lead to this kind of problem. So there are chances, so that can be avoided if the individual wants to improve. Otherwise, it goes to the editorial board, and nowadays editorial reports are very heavily loaded, and the reviewers also. Whatever is coming, sometimes they miss those points also. So otherwise, the purpose of the review itself is that they have to make sure that it is getting published in the correct direction.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, sir. I also have one question. Sir, what are the H index and impact factor? How those are work means, can you explain?
Okay, impact factor, I explained that impact factor is for the journal. So basically, if the journal has a higher impact factor, means it's a more cited in the sense the researchers or the scientific community are reading more and more and citing those journals. So that is why their the impact factor is high. So the impact factor gives the indication of the journals. Now the H index is what it says that I will tell that that is for the authors. So if the author is having a higher H is basically they says how many papers your paper got cited more than 10 times. So they will find out that is the H index. The H index higher and higher means the author is more famous. So that comes like that. So if you more than 10 H index, 20, 30, 40, 50, so there is a that gives the I mean that how I mean the well known in the scientific community that author is. That gives from the that you get a information from the H index.
Oh, okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, I have also one query. Sir, it's like how to determine the order of authorship in multi-author papers. Like, what factors influence these decisions?
Yeah, so first thing is the novelty. Novelty in the sense who will decide, who has that idea. If the person who has given the idea to do that work and he does some of the work, so I think that should be the main author. And depends on the person who is contributing or doing the work, they will become the co-author and like that. So basically choosing the first author is the only the major important aspect, and the other authorship comes in a sometimes in a, I mean, depends on the what is the amount of contribution they are giving to that particular paper, so it goes in a that way. And I showed in the beginning also there may be multiple co-author can be there. There can be thousands of authors also possible. So there are multiple things are there, but it's all depends on whose idea and who did the major chunk of the work of that particular research activity. So that decides the main author.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sir, I have a small question. So, how do someone handle the conflicting information or any discrepancy in the sources? So, if there is a result mismatch or the result that is presented is not exactly what the other author has found out.
Okay, see, that is what we called always the validation. So many times we ask the authors to show us some of the validation cases against the measurement versus simulation. That is the one part of the looking into what he has presented is right or wrong. Sometimes they refer the published sources that I have followed the ABCD publication where people have already done the validation. So what I am also doing is correct. So they says like that. The third thing, what you are saying, there are chances, even though they followed the same procedure, however, they may miss something, or there are chances they have come with some other wrong results. So that time they have to correct their paper, and that is called that addendum, and all those things are there. So they have to correct if some they have by mistake some wrong information got published. So they have to write to the editor and got it corrected. So some many times what happens, many the scientific community read those papers one got published, so they will write to the authors or the corresponding author mentioning that the work which you have published, we found that there is some error or something, please look into that. And the authors, it's author's responsibility to look into that, and they found that yeah, really there is some issue, they should write back to the editor with the corrections. So it has to be uh, amended. So there is a new revision comes in the and that is also will be made available in the open literature.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
How much is it important to choose the right publication journals for their respective works? Because as we see for college students, there are numerous of publication journals and startups available.
Yeah, yeah. So